The average median income, household income in this area is around $90,000. Now, I know some of you who don't make that think, wow, that's a lot of money. Well, that's taking into account everyone in the region, okay? So don't feel bad if you don't make $90,000. Not many of us in this room do, okay? But let's take 8 months of that. Let's say that's 12 months. 8 months of $90,000 is what? $60,000. Now, mathematician, I would say to my wife, but is $60,000 going to feed 20,000 people at the Wachovia Center at $3 each? Could you even get a hot dog and a soda? Some of you are thinking, yeah, you probably could. No, you can't. You couldn't get anything for $3 a person. So when you do the logic, 8 months' wages wouldn't feed about 20,000 people. Okay, you follow my logic. It's a big crowd. And then you've got the other disciple, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up and he says, you can imagine, first you've got Philip trying to solve the problem. Then you've got Andrew, and Philip probably said, hey Judas, how much money we got in the till? And Andrew, Peter, what are we going to do, guys? And Andrew says, this doesn't this crack you up? Andrew says, here's a little boy. Here's my son over here. He's not a little boy anymore. He's almost 12. Here's a boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. What? 5 loaves and 2 fish? Come on. Number one, we look to ourselves and our earthly resources. Number two, we look to others. Not only is Philip scurrying, as we've all done, but you've got the disciples kind of going, what are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? Let's fix this problem. We got to solve it. 5 loaves and 2 fish. And number 3, we look to escapes and diversions in our earthly resources. In Matthew chapter 14, verse 15, Matthew writes, as evening approached, the disciples came to Jesus and said, this is a remote place. Remember, they're off in a remote place out in the middle of nowhere, very solitary. And it's already getting late. Lord, they say, it's already getting late, Jesus. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a classic escape. Lord, they don't even say Lord. They just say, Jesus, get rid of them. They're telling Jesus, God in flesh, send them away, Lord, after he says, you give them something to eat. Earthly resources, we look to ourselves. We look to others. We look to escapes and diversions. What are our modern day escapes and diversions? Addictions, depression, apathy. How about this? Comfort, entertainment. You're here, but I'll tell you what, it's probably pretty busy down at the movie theater. And I'm not talking about the church that meets down there. Okay, you ever ride by that place? You see all those cars? I'm talking about people going to the movies. We go to comfort. We go to entertainment. Speaking of comfort, just a little side note, it must be God's will that we're moving to northwestern Pennsylvania because there's no Dunkin' Donuts up there. That's going to kill me. Brian Larkin, he's not here. He was in the first service. I'll survive, but I like my Dunkin' Donuts coffee. So I'll tell you what, I've thought about that. But, we like our comfort, don't we? I need that cup of coffee. I need that outlet. I need that remote control. I need that fix. Those are the escapes and the diversions that are rooted in our earthly resources. How does God respond to our tactics? I believe that God sends us impossible circumstances that just cannot be solved with those resources. Doesn't he do that? You can't fix it yourself, someone else can't fix it, and your escape doesn't fix it. Because by nature, we're always trying to find those self-healing, other healing, escape healing solutions, and they just don't work. And that's exactly what the disciples are doing in this passage. And what are they missing? Tell me, what are they missing? Who's there? Who's right there with them? Jesus is right there with them. You see, we have to own the fact that God's love is so great for us that he will even test us in our earthly resources to show us that he truly is the way the truth, and the life, and the solution, and the answer. Why? Why would God allow these impossible circumstances in his life? Why would he do this? Because he can? Because his love is so great for us? Because he rules the details. If you don't believe God rules the details, you got an issue with the truth of this book. You have to believe that. If you don't believe he rules the details, read the book of Daniel, the life of Daniel. If God rules the nations, he rules the details. I encourage you to read the book of Daniel. And he knows, why does God allow impossible circumstances? He knows that in this flesh, this human condition, we need it. God knows that we, left to our own vices in the human condition of the flesh, cannot find our own self-healing solutions. He knows it. We're not going to find it on this side of eternity without him. And what is his greatest concern for us? What's that one heart thing that Thor probably wants to share before he leaves? Is that God is more concerned with molding my character, our character, and shaping me, us, into the likeness of his Son than he is in giving me, or us, a comfortable, pain-free, worry-free life. God is more worried about shaping us into the image of his Son than he is in a comfortable, pain-free, worry-free life. Hence, the death of self. What does Jesus say? Deny yourself, pick up your cross, and what? Follow me. Follow me. And you know what he promises? That he never should have had to say to the disciples, and he doesn't in the miracle. And by the way, he does feed them, right? He broke bread, he took the bread and the fish, and it multiplied, and they had 12 baskets left. But Jesus shouldn't have to say, should he? He shouldn't have to say, I'm right here. I'm right here, guys. What are you missing? Have you been watching what's been happening in the lives of other people? I'm right here. And little did they know that they would need to hear him in their heart say, I will be here for you. Now we're going to watch a video, and then I'm going to share a few more comments at the end. This video, Dan O'Connor helped me put this video together. And it's a Michael W. Smith song. It's kind of an older song. But the song, more specifically the clips of the video, they come from here. And Dan, where is Dan? Right here. Dan, I shared with Dan when we finished this project this week. It took us a couple hours. I said to Dan, you don't know how much I've wanted to communicate what's in this video my entire life. So I want you to watch this, and I want you to look for Jesus and let him speak to you. Watch this video. Do you hear what he said at the end? Do not be afraid. I am with you every day until the end of time.